You're listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to the Cult of Campbell.
Hey, hey.
Today is the very first episode of our new series, Cult of Campbell versus Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Yes, very excited to get started on this.
And we are doing I guess I'm Ty.
I'm Eric.
And today we are taking a look at the very first episode, of course, El Jefe.
El Jefe. This episode is kind of special, other than being, of course, like the return of Ash and the Evil Dead. But it was written by Sam and Ivan Raimi, and then directed by Sam Raimi.
And this has his fingerprints all over it. This is classic Sam Raimi direction. Love it. So
yes.
I think we should just go ahead and let's talk about this episode.
Heck yeah.
Let's go ahead and let's get groovy.
Grab your boomstick and fire up the Delta. It's time for ACTION. Join the Cult of Campbell. Groovy.
And if you're lucky a little later, I'll let you play with my boomstick.
So, Eric, is this your first time watching Ash vs. Evil Dead?
This is my first time watching Ash vs. Evil Dead. I haven't seen any of the episodes, so every time that we do a new episode, it'll be my first time watching it.
Love that.
Yeah, yep.
So this is I've seen that. I watched this when it premiered because I was so excited when they announced. I couldn't believe it. It's like one of those things you like hear about and you're almost sure that it's going to get canceled or get pulled before it airs or whatever. Just because it seemed too good to be true.
Yeah, you didn't have a lot of faith in it.
No, I didn't have a lot of faith in it actually coming to fruition because it was just one of those things. It was like, this is too good to be true. Like, there's no way they're going to do a series on Ash. And then also, I was like very apprehensive about how they were going to do a series on Ash. It's like, I didn't know if it was going to be like a serial, if it was going to be like one of those like, Monster of the Week type deals or what. So, but when it came out and I seen that first episode, El Jefe, I was blown away.
I can't blame you. Like, holy crap. That was so much more than what I was expecting.
Right.
Like, wow. It
opens up. We get to see Ash for the first time, I think, since Army of Darkness came out in like 94, I think.
Oh, wow.
92,
yeah.
maybe?
Yeah.
92.
Let me check. I think it's 90.
Okay, we have a fact checker.
Yeah, we got
so
Ian. He's acting as producer today. He's fact checking. So this is the first time since 92 we get to see Ash, and here he is.
Yep.
And we see the classic Sam Raimi quick cuts, 92.
92.
We get to see those classic Sam Raimi quick cuts, we see him like strapping up and you're not sure what's going on. You're seeing like his face and, he says, this is going to hurt, baby. And then it pulls out. And what do you see, Eric?
We see those dance moves.
Moves.
Oh my goodness.
As he is just squeezing his overweight body
yes.
into a corset.
I forgot about the corset. Oh my God.
And he is feeling himself.
Yeah.
He is vibing in this outfit, in this new corset. He's looking good.
Oh yeah.
Because Ash is going out in the town.
That's right. He grabs his Magnum condoms.
He throws on his nice red leather jacket.
Yep.
Hops in the 88 Delta. We get to see it's back. The classic has returned, of course. I mean, I couldn't see Ash driving anything else.
Yep.
And he heads to town because this is and the whole time it's playing Space Truckin', and it just fits so well. It's just this like really cool like tone it sets.
Yes.
As you see, Ash he exits an old beat up trailer. He's got his lizard. I can't remember the name of the lizard, but
I can't remember the lizard's name.
He has his lizard. Ian, you mind looking up the lizard's name?
Yeah, we got to know that lizard's name.
Yeah.
He screws on his wooden hand.
Yes,
on his
before
way
he
out the
leaves,
door.
he grabs his wooden hand, and he is very, very happy to have his wooden appendage.
That's right. Yep.
And he hops in 88 Delta, space trucking still going, and he just cruises to town. Because today, we find out, is the 30-year anniversary of when he lost his hand.
That's right.
It's been 30 years.
Yep. So he gets to that bar.
Eli the lizard.
Eli the lizard.
So he gets to the bar, and one of my favorite bits, the dart.
Oh my gosh!
He walks in, just swagger, grabs a dart from the board, and just walks up to the bar and just chucks it back.
Not even looking.
Yeah,
not even looking.
Chucks it back, and it misses by a mile.
And I was expecting that to be a bullseye. Like, he was so slick and confident. I was like, okay, yeah, we're gonna see a bullseye. Ash is amazing, cool. Just thunk way off. That was so funny. Oh my gosh. And they do a really good job about that in general with Ash.
Yes.
And I guess that's probably his character in general. It's
Yeah.
just he's a bit of a klutz.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah. He has a bit of a klutz.
It seems to me that, well, we'll get more into that. Yeah.
And then he sees a pretty lady across the bar
That's right.
and lets her know that he's got a wooden hand.
Yep.
And the way he lost is because he saved a child from a speeding train.
Saved that child from certain death.
Certain death.
And she turns out to be quite impressed
Yeah.
by his story.
He woos her right into the women's
Yep,
bathroom.
Right into the women's bathroom.
Where he does her doggy across the on the counter. On the counter of the sink. And he had just smacked her ass with his wooden hand. You like
Asking her
my
if she
wood?
likes that
You like my wood? He starts to get a little winded. I love that. He's like, "Can we take care? You think we can focus on me for a little bit?"
That was so good. Yeah. Oh, I'm getting a little winded.
And she's exclaiming, "I'm coming, I'm coming." Then we get our first shot of this is the first time you get a sense of like, oh,
something's wrong.
Things aren't right. Her head whips around and she is a deadeye, or so she appears to be a deadeye.
Indeed, and it freaks him right out.
And her "I'm coming" turns it out, "We're coming."
Yeah.
And freaks him out, but not enough to where he can't be coerced into finishing the job.
Right. Because then her face goes back to normal and she was like, I was almost there. And he's like, I gotta go. And well, maybe I could. We just have to be quick.
Yeah. I love it. He gets back to work and he's just looking around the whole time like he's nervous, but he's still doing it. He's still going at it. But he's just looking around, just like terrified.
Oh God. Yeah.
And then he cruises back to the trailer, bursts in, and he opens a trunk where we see that after 30 years, he is still for some reason hanging on to the Necronomicon. I guess maybe he felt that it was better kept with him. Right.
Maybe what?
Keep your friends close, enemies closer, kind of thing.
There
maybe.
You go. Yeah. Although
So
in his case, maybe that wasn't such a good idea.
Because we find out that he has a Necronomicon. It's safe. It's with him.
Yeah.
But he just happened to have gotten stoned previously.
Yep. He flashes back.
And in his attempts to try to impress a young lady who likes poetry, he decided to read to her passages from the Necronomicon.
He's like, "Oh, I got some poetry for you,"
Yeah.
and then they just both start reading it out loud. It's like, and they're stoned as hell. He even had the whole reason he's remembering this is because he had his baggie of joints, and pot,
bag of joints
like
stuffed
tucked into the Necronomicon.
And then I love it. He like remembers this. We see the flashback, and then it pulls out, and he just fuck.
Like the most genuine fuck ever. Just fuck.
And then splash is our title card. Ash vs. Evil Dead, first episode.
Boom.
There's our opening.
Yes.
And then we cut to a house, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, this is Amanda Fisher. We get introduced to the character Amanda Fisher.
And she comes in with her partner.
John. That's all I remember. I remember his name being John. They are, I guess, called to a residential, some creepy ass old house.
Yeah. All the furniture's covered. The lights are all out.
They go in. They find one dead body who's like petrified, like a petrified corpse.
That was creepy.
Yeah, they flash up that.
Kind of sitting up and arms out.
Mouth agape.
Yeah, it was like rigor mortis set in.
And then we get to see like this is a very excellent sequence because it almost feels. This is where it feels like a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like we got the comedy, but now this whole scene is like horror. It's not like there's no real comedy or levity to this whole scene. It is like a straight horror film.
Yeah, very long drawn out.
A lot of creepy sounds and movements, things like that. They walk into a room where there's a rocking chair. It just like stops rocking.
Yeah. Oh, was it even? Did we even see it rocking?
Yeah. When we come in, it's rocking. And then like when the camera turns around, it stops.
Okay.
And that's why John has his shotgun on.
Right. Because I was going to comment on that. I thought that was kind of neat that they weren't like, he was pointing the gun at it, and when we look over and see it, it's like it's not rocking anymore. But you just know.
Yeah.
What a simple.
Yeah, simple and effective thing.
Yeah.
That reminds me a lot of the very first Evil Dead film.
Oh yeah.
The porch swing.
That's right.
Where they pull up to the house and the porch swing just banging across then once they step up on the porch, it just stops.
Suddenly stops. Yeah. I
So-
didn't even catch that.
Yeah, that's what I
great-
thought. That's why I thought it was a callback to. Because that's one thing that always stuck out to me was that porch swing. That always stuck out to me from Evil Dead. The first one is that porch swing.
Right.
And they bring it back later too, which they give a
great.
callback to that later in the series. So they look over and we see a sheet on the ground that just lifts up.
Yeah.
There's someone underneath it.
And they're not
Slow
they're-
approach.
Yeah, they're slowly walking towards them. The person's not responding.
They tell her, they pull the sheet back. We see it's a young lady who puts her hands up.
Yep, she puts her
And
hands up.
there we find out that it is the young lady who Ash read the Necronomicon to.
Yep. The poor young lady who enjoys poetry.
Yep. It was her end.
Yep.
She loved it so much that it was the death
end
of her.
Yep, it was the end of her because it turns out that she is our very first.
Yeah, our first real Deadite. Yeah, our
Deadite.
first real Deadite. No vision, no trickery. This is our first Deadite. Yeah. And she whips her head around, full 180 turn, and then
shuffling.
her arms
Like
go back
twisting,
too. And I was
crunching.
thinking, this is it's been just way easier just to turn around.
2 steps, Deadeye.
Yeah,
Just
why
two
don't you
steps and
just
you'd
turn
been-
around?
Yep.
Do all that.
I didn't have to do all that.
And she commences to just decimate John and Amanda.
Yep, just kicks their ass. She's got scissors.
Oh yeah, puts scissors right through Amanda's hand.
Yep, I think she's taking bullets.
She took a full clip, and I love that Amanda unloads on her, and we see the light go through the bullet holes.
That was
the
a
light coming
neat-
through the window.
That was
yeah.
a really neat detail. I loved that.
And then we see she's about to get Amanda before her head just explodes.
Bam.
John has recovered himself. He's got a shotgun. He saved the day.
Yep.
Or so we think.
So we think.
Because she turns around and whips him into a set of antlers. And that is the end of John.
Yep. Right away.
Right
Well,
into the antlers. Yeah,
Yep.
for now. That's the end of
That's the end
John
of John as we know him.
And Amanda finishes off the Deadite lady with a derringer she has hidden her ankle.
Right.
Blows its head clean off with this derringer.
With that little gun. Is that really how those
I
work?
don't think so. I have one. I have
you?
one. I have one at my room. Yeah, it's not that.
It's never quite taken someone's head off?
No, I've never
Okay.
used it for that. But I mean, I imagine it would do considerably less damage than that shotgun that John had, where it blew the side of her head off.
Like,
But-
I actually kind of laughed at that part. Like, and I don't think it was really played to be much of a comedy,
I don't know.
but
It was a good
certainly
shot,
over the
though.
top. Yeah.
It was a great shot. It was nice wide.
Very
Yeah.
wide. Kind
Yes.
of silhouetted.
Yep. So at that point, all the shutters slam shut in the house.
Yep. Things
They slam
got
shut.
real dark.
And then John's body is no longer hanging on the antlers.
Yep.
And we
Where's
find out he's
John?
now a Deadite. We get some of that the callbacks to the Evil Dead 1, classic Deadite behavior where Amanda gets him with her gun on him and he changes back to human form John and starts pleading and playing their emotions.
Right.
Just that classic, Deadite trickery that's just
And how fucked up is that?
Oh,
That
it's so
to me
fucked up.
Is just probably one of the most like I watch when we were watching the show. I even said that scares me the most because I would fall for that.
Yeah.
I absolutely would. If my brother Ian came to me as a Deadite and attacked me and beat my ass, and then I finally had the upper hand on him, and he was just like, "But Eric, we're brothers." I'd be like, "Yes, we are." And then he would kill me. I would stop. I wouldn't be
you
able
will
to
have
do it.
fallen.
I would.
You
I
will
would
have
have.
fallen
Yep,
for it. I think that is one of the. Yeah, there you go. Now Ian knows he can just beat the shit out of you. As long as he pleases you in the end, he's good. I think that's that's definitely the creepier aspect of just the Deadites in general is that turn they do it. They're able to play with people's emotions and get in there. So she kills John.
Yep. She's able to do
reluctantly,
it after
she
he
takes him
starts-
out.
Yep.
And then we get the next morning. Ash has to head into work. Well, first he calls a bookstore.
That's right.
Where apparently he has conversed with them prior, and they're going to translate the Necronomicon for him. I guess in hopes of finding
some sort of
an undo, a reset or something. I guess an undo button. I don't know.
Right, a good living instead of Evil Dead sort of.
We only hear his side of the phone call, and he does. I love that.
Oh, that was so good. He's like, I came in to see it like 30 years ago. The book, bound in human flesh and inked in blood. Like just so offhand, like it's like, yeah, man, we always say this about the book. That was great.
Then we meet Vivian. This is our introduction of Vivian, his neighbor, his elderly, old, sweet neighbor,
very sweet lady,
who he has no problem giving her a list of chores that she has to do. And she gladly accepts it.
She was all about it.
Yeah, he asks her to tidy up, do the dishes, oil the hitch, clean the septic.
And she's like, okay. Yeah. And he's like, and really get in there.
Yeah, I love it. He pulls his gloves out. He's like, really get in there. Conquer those clogs.
And she's like, oh, okay. Yeah. And she's, that explains something later on. A question that I had about Vivian.
Okay.
So,
I'm interested. Okay.
Yeah. Remind me of that.
He steps away. Then we see everything changes.
Yes.
It's a nice sunny morning. We see that change. It's dim. It's dark. It's gloomy. There's a gust of ghostly wind. We hear whispering, Ash, Ash. And he turns around where Vivian was hanging laundry and pulls a sheet back. And there we see Deadite Vivian, but not really Deadite Vivian.
Right. Another kind of vision.
Yeah, another vision trickery kind of thing that they do.
Yeah.
And she lets him know that, evil's back and that it's coming for him. He couldn't hide. He couldn't hide from it.
Nope.
He flashes back. Everything's back to normal.
Yeah.
And he heads to his job at the value stop, I believe.
The value stop, right.
Value stop, yeah.
Yeah. There's a bit of a story there, isn't
there? There's, because generally we all know that Ash works at S-Mart.
Right.
But from what I was able to understand, this first season, they didn't have the rights to use anything from Army of Darkness.
Okay.
Season 2 and 3, because they never mentioned anything about time travel or him, going back to the Middle Ages, which is something you feel like it would be brought up as if it's something you've done. You feel like you'd work that in the conversation
bring it up a little bit. Yeah.
But we find out that he, but we never hear about that. It's never brought up.
Right.
But later on in season 2 and season 3, they were able to get whatever issue there was worked out.
Right. Which
so
is good.
we get more of that. We get the mythology of Army of Darkness weaved into Ash vs. Evil Dead, pretty flawlessly too, and it really drives the series, like especially in the latter half of the second season into the third season.
Okay.
So
great.
We get his manager. I forget his manager's name.
Me too.
But he is
Asshole.
just a dick. Yeah, I love it. Ash is like he's trying to take off time. He wants his check. By the end of the day, he's got to take off some time.
Right.
He tells him that his basically his lizard is sick. He has to care for his friend Eli. And his manager's like, "You're really going to call off because of your lizard?" And I love it too. He's like, you think just because you have seniority, I can't fire your ass? Well, you're right. But that doesn't mean I have to help you out.
He's like, now take this box and go put it up.
Take this box of light bulbs and put them back. Don't break them. And then he immediately just shatters all up.
Slings it over his shoulder, and they all come spilling out behind him. And what a good gag that was. And we just get it all in a wide. It all just comes spilling out.
It's all wide one shot. I love it.
Yep. Just and he's crunching around in it like, oh God, and you're sitting there like, dude, like, oh my gosh, he is in such a hurry. Are you kidding me? Yeah. And that's where we meet Pablo,
who will be basically Ash's sidekick throughout the series. And we get Pablo is one of the you see a lot of growth of all these characters. They do a really good job with their characters. This first episode did a really great job of introducing the characters. And the series does a great job of taking care of these characters.
Oh, good. That's
good. Really, fleshing them out. So you meet Pablo, and he's just enamored by Ash.
He is. Yeah. First thing he says to him is like, "I got this. Don't worry. I'll clean up your mess." That's funny.
And like you can tell he does that because he's like even tells him like, "I got my you can't leave," because Ash is telling him like, "I'm skipping town. I'm out of here." And he's like, "Oh no, you can't. You're you're like the coolest part about working here." Like you tell, he loves Ash. He's like, "I just got my neighbor hired. That's an extra person to help cover your ass when you're late or when you take your naps or when you don't show up at all." Like, you can tell he just takes care of Ash. He is just and Ash has just got him under his spell. Mm-hmm. That Ash charm has just got him.
Yep.
And this is where we're introduced to Kelly, who is Pablo's neighbor. Pablo has a very big crush on her.
He certainly does seem to be quite enamored.
He is very enamored by her.
And of course, Ash immediately is just I'm going to go hit on her.
Yeah. Very attractive lady. He is going to go and work his moves. And he does. He goes right after it. Lets her know, like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I'm leaving. Unfortunately, you're never going to get to know me." And
she's like, and he's like, no, I get it. I'm older, 10 pounds overweight. Okay, 30 pounds overweight. But he tells her, he's like, but at some point, it'll cross your mind.
Cross your mind.
God love him.
And then I love the bit where he's like, "You do me a favor." He's like, "Tell your mother, or thank your mother for these genetics that
for passing those genes down in all the right places."
She tells him, like, "My mother died 6 months ago." And I love his reaction because he's not like sad. He's like, "Wow." He's like, "You really should just say, okay, I'll tell her, not put someone in that position."
You just met somebody, lay something that heavy on her. It's like, oh my God, you asshole. And she's pretty flabbergasted, like, just what? And he's like, all right, anyway. So,
and then we go to, I believe we cut to Amanda. We're reintroduced to Amanda.
That's right. Now she's
hanging out at a diner.
She's ostracized from the other police. It seems now we have some police officers sitting at a table.
They don't interact with her. You can tell she is very uncomfortable.
Yep.
We have a friendly cook who reassures everything's gonna be all right. Things will be back. Yeah, we'll be back to work in no time. She sees her first vision of a deadite.
Yeah.
Across the room, she's a little girl just like staring at. That was creepy because it's just like very rarely do you see a deadite just like staring at you. Usually they're taunting or they're laughing or something. But no, this deadite just like staring at her, like no interaction at all.
Yep.
And then this is where we are introduced to Ruby.
Right, played by Lucy Lawless.
Xena herself.
I was not expecting her to be in this. I did not know that was coming.
I was very interested to see her interact. So I knew she was going to be in there, but I was like, I'm not going to say she's in here. I want him to be surprised.
I was very surprised. And we didn't get much of her.
No, we didn't get much of her.
That's a good
it's almost like it's almost like a passing, she doesn't really say anything. She just kind of says like, "Oh, you okay?" And I thought I'd seen something. It's like, well, sometimes what you see is really there or whatever. Right. And then she just kind of leaves. So if you were to watch this show, you would think, oh well, that's just a cool little cameo they gave Lucy Lawless. How neat, because her and Bruce were in Xena together. You would think, oh, neat. And she goes off, and then we cut to back at the value stop.
That's right. Yes.
Where Ash is back in the storeroom.
Yep, in the storeroom where they're keeping all sorts of their product stored, including
little Lily. A little Lily doll who becomes possessed.
Yes.
And is Ash's first confrontation.
That's right.
His first confrontation with the evil in 30 years, from what we know.
Yeah, and he he's like leaning. He caught movement or something, and he's leaning his face in really, really close. And those were some good shots too. Some good close-ups of Bruce in this show in general. And then that bitch just clings to his face. I loved the gag where he just kept grabbing pots and smashing them against his own head on her until he finally got her. And oh my gosh.
She knocks a tooth out.
Yeah.
They brawl for a little bit, and then we see her. I love he's just like playing into her too. Like he throws her on the ground. He's like, "Oh, it's gonna be okay." Like he's like being just very Ash about it. And she picks up a razor blade and starts running at him, and then just out of nowhere, she just explodes in blood.
Yep.
And we see that she's been crushed by Pablo, who's got to be he's got to have so many questions. He just walks, he just goes back and like there's a porcelain doll just trying to kill his friend with a razor blade
with a knife.
He has got to be just so just flabbergasted.
Thank God he had the presence of mind to grab that shovel.
Exactly. That shows some guts. Like, you see that and you think he'd be just in stunned, like, just shock and terror.
Just like, no way. What is that? What a weird looking cat. Or something like.
But no, he obliterates little Lily. And
she was full of blood. Ugh.
And then we get a nice little exposition dump, but done very, very creatively. I loved it. Basically, Ash runs down the plot of Evil Dead 1 and 2, kind of like they combine the two films. Like, they use the footage from both, and
they're projecting it on the sides of the boxes.
Yeah, that was so nice.
In the storeroom. That was a really cool way to do it. And we had like two, just several frames.
They're all on boxes. Yeah. It's really nice. Really neat effect. I wonder if it was practical or if it was done in post. That's something I wonder.
I wonder too.
Yeah, that's something I would be interested to find out. If they actually projected these things up on there, if it was just a post effect.
Right.
But either way, it was a very interesting way to tell this story.
Super creative.
Yeah, very creative.
So now we got all caught up.
Ash lets him know what the story is, and he fucking jets. He's out of there. He's
like, out.
Yeah,
although he does get. Is that where he's told that he could be?
That's where we get the little Pablo lets him know. I have an uncle who's a shaman, El Brujo.
Yep.
And he told me, you gotta face the evil, and that one day El Jefe will stop the evil.
Right.
And I think you're El Jefe. And Ash is like, he's like, nope. He's like, you're the wrong guy. He's like, I'm no hero.
He rejects the call to adventure.
Rejects it.
He's gonna get the fuck out.
Bounces.
Yep.
And while that's going on, we get Kelly gets a phone call from her dad.
Oh yes. Video call.
Yeah, video call that there's some weird stuff going on in their house. This novel that her mom tried to get him to read. He didn't want. It was laying out. The house smells like pancakes.
Yeah.
And then there's a mysterious woman lurking outside who knocks on the door.
He says, someone's here. It's her.
She's here.
It's she. She is here.
And
Who could it be?
He drops the phone and it catches this mysterious woman who we presume to be Kelly's mother enters the house and the call ends. Kelly says, we got to go. We got to get out of here.
Yep.
And then Pablo's like, let's do it. I believe you. Like, he's probably willing to believe anything at this point. He just murdered a doll.
Yeah.
He doesn't tell it. He doesn't come out and say, hey, there's.
He didn't, did he?
No, he's just like, all right.
Like,
he believes everything Ash told him. He's like,
yeah,
yep, this is happening. Ash wouldn't lie to me. He loves Ash so much.
My shaman relative wouldn't lie to me.
Exactly.
Nope, I'm down. I've seen it with my own eyes. You're telling me that you saw your dead mother. Cool. Let's get the fuck out.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
They hop on the she runs out to hop on the bike. First the manager confronts Pablo's like, you're not fucking leaving. And he's like, yeah, I am. And that's where you get to see some Pablo is early signs of him just getting some balls, because we meet him, he's very,
he's kind of a simp.
But now we see him I'm doing stuff.
Yeah.
He's maybe been invigorated a little bit by the whole thing.
Yeah.
So while he's in there doing that, Kelly's trying to get Pablo's motorcycle started up.
Yep.
And we get that classic Evil Dead
those POVs.
That POV, the evil is approaching as a storm comes over the store.
Yeah. Sliding under cars and through
windows. I love that shot of it.
That was cool.
It's just like slinking through the whole parking lot, just goes right through a windshield. Pablo gets out, hops on the bike, and they speed off just in time as the evil passes them and the manager steps out the door. And gets just hit right in the face. It was very reminiscent of the last shot of Evil Dead.
Oh, yeah.
Remember where, where the evil comes through the house and Ash turns around and that's what we presume happens to the manager.
Right.
So after that, we flash to Amanda, who has returned to the scene of the crime.
That's right.
Where we were introduced to her and John at the house, and she goes into the house and kind of gets reassurance that what happened, because I think that was kind of like Lucy Lawless's.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Because she's been ridiculed, and that didn't happen. I'm sure the police were like, he did not come back from the dead, and you had to. For all they know, she killed her partner.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
That's what it looks
that does not look good for her
at
all.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think you're right. Lucy's character kind of sparks her to be like, no, you know what? I'm gonna see if this is real or not.
Exactly.
And she goes
back and she gets that reassurance that that happened. I'm not crazy.
Yep.
This is a thing.
What I saw is really what I saw.
And then we cut back to Pablo and Kelly, who instead of Pablo taking her to her father's home,
He's
has
like, I know
taken
a guy that
her
can help us.
to see El Jefe.
El Jefe.
Ash. He takes her to his trailer, where
And she's like, come on, this
yeah,
guy.
she goes in and she
You're
just
kidding
like,
me.
what the hell? Like this old creep like in his house. And there's not too much that goes on. We see when they pull up that the storm is there. The storm has hit the trailer park that Ash lives in. And
And he's getting ready to go.
he's ready to
like,
bounce.
hell no.
He is done. He is, and that's the great thing about Ash is like for this moment you get to see it. He is just not. He is not. He didn't ask for this. He doesn't want this. He doesn't
Right.
want this stuff.
Well, he kind of asked for it.
Yeah, he kind of asked for it.
but
yeah.
he didn't. That's not what he wanted.
He was
just wanted
asked to get laid. He was
you
trying to get laid, man. Come on.
Jeez. How hard should it be to read a fucking book?
Yeah. And then earlier we saw there's a guy outside just shoveling stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And Shovel Guy bursts through the door. Does he grab
yeah, his arm comes in through the window and he
grabs Kelly. He grabs
Pablo's
Kelly.
trying to get him off of her, and that's where Ash is kind of like. That's where Ash starts really.
I think he's had enough. Yeah.
He's like, okay, so he turns and he grabs an axe, and I figure he's gonna run up and chop this arm off, but that's not quite what happened.
No, that's not Ash.
He throws the axe,
Throws it.
spins through the air, and just severs this arm, frees Kelly.
And I wonder if I was like kind of like that's a big turning point for him. 'Cause remember, at the beginning we see the dart.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He just chucks that dart.
That's
it doesn't
right.
go.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
And this
They
right here
set
is
that
where
up
we
well.
see that turn of like now it's Ash.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
that
got
was
his
just a
focus
shell of who he was.
Yeah, that's
Now he's becoming
right.
Ash. Williams, the Ash Williams we all know and love.
Yeah.
So he severs that arm.
Yep. And that's where do we start getting bombarded by those POV
Yes,
shots now?
yeah. This
Just
is where the
start ramming
POV starts. Or
ramming
no,
the
I think
trailer and-
first he. I think first
I think
he
you're
kills
right.
Shovel Guy.
Yeah, Shovel Guy actually. Yeah. So I've
Yeah,
jumped
no,
ahead a little bit.
it is that. It is
that right?
after this because this bombarding the trailer. Then Kelly yells, "Stop it! You go to hell or whatever!"
Yeah, leave us
and it just
alone.
stops. And Ash and Pablo's like, "Is it coming in?" And he's like, "Oh, it's coming." And then we get to see the turn, the heroic turn.
yes.
He rips
This-
his shirt off he has that iconic blue shirt.
Straight away.
Grabs hold of Kelly, he's like, I need this, and whips her belt off, throws that around him. And then probably the most like, what the fuck contraption he has in his house.
loved it.
He has a pedal on his floor that shoots a shotgun up out of the floor.
Like so he steps on it and it springs up just as Shovel Deadite is coming in
Yep.
through the door, catches it, whirls around, or does he even whirl around, or does he just shoot it over his shoulder?
I think
Something.
he turns around.
Just like a slick sequence.
Yeah,
Man, that was
it is so good. It's like
Yeah.
it's more those that Sam Raimi like quick cut,
Yeah.
a sequence of shots that he does.
Yep.
But-
That to me right there is where it's like this is the Ash.
And it's crazy. It's like he almost has like a physical change too. I mean, the character just totally changes. I mean,
Yeah.
it's in that split second because he no longer looks like dumpy and old. Like he kind of looks invigorated and like he looks slimmer. In my opinion, I don't know if they.
Right.
I think that might
They
be
tightened the
intentional.
corset a little
Yeah,
more.
tighten the corset a little bit.
Oh,
more.
I'm sure that they meant for him to. Yeah, he's standing up straighter
Yeah,
probably. And
he looks it's a full on change.
that was an amazing transformation, and it happened right before our eyes and so fast.
Yeah.
that we didn't even know what. Like, man, just what a slick sequence. I think I'm gonna remember that shotgun contraption forever.
Yeah, that shotgun charge was awesome. But he just decimates fucking Shovel Guy.
Yep.
And then I think we start getting bombarded.
That's where the bombardment
That's
probably
bombardment.
starts.
Yeah, that's where
and the POV evil just slamming into things, shattering glass.
and then Ash, Pablo's like this because we see this curtain at the end of the trailer
Yeah.
that's like backlit,
Yes.
and we see the silhouette of the chainsaw.
chainsaw.
And Pablo yells the saw or something. He tells him like the saw.
that, and the music is kind of angelic at that point, if I remember right.
Yeah, it gets nice and built up. Ash grabs onto the curtain, whips it back, and standing in front of the saw is Deadite Vivian.
Oh,
real Deadite Vivian.
Real
No trickery. It's straight Deadite Vivian.
Yep. Now this is what I think was set up earlier. He asked. I didn't realize it. He asked her to go into his trailer, to clean up, and that's why she was already in there.
And that's why she was there. Yeah.
That was cool. That was a good. Because I totally forgot about that. It's like, oh, he's an asshole to his neighbors, and they fucking love him, and whatever.
When you think about it, she had to be staying there for like a good couple hours because when Pablo and Kelly pull up, he's been there.
He's already been there. Getting ready to leave. Oh my gosh, you're right.
She just been kind of chilling out there for a while, waiting on him to he's gonna come over and open this curtain. I fucking
twirling her tongue.
Yeah. Oh, that was creepy too. He whips the curtain back, and the angelic music just stops, and there's Deadite Vivian just flicking her tongue, licking around her mouth.
It's like, oh god.
And then
so she's between him and that saw.
She is.
And Vivian wrecks
shit. She wrecks them all. She fucking beats shit out of Ash. She beats shit out of Kelly.
Yep.
She takes poor Pablo and stabs him to the wall.
Yeah, he's pinned to the wall like Michael style.
Yeah. And then Ash is kind of out of commission.
Yeah, he got knocked down or blown to the ceiling or something.
Yeah,
like that.
he gets thrashed.
Yeah.
And he's laying on his bed. He's kind of out. He's out for the moment. Yeah. And then she mounts Kelly and starts taking her old lady
long
fingernails. And it's a slow, just real tense scene of her fingernail just getting closer. And she tells her, don't worry, Muffin. I just want to put these through your eyes. And and her fingers, and you're seeing the distance between the eyeball and the fingernail is just closing in.
Oh. I hated that.
And then
that nail got so close.
It was almost like scratching her eyeball. It was gross. And Pablo's yelling the whole time. He's yelling Ash, get up, get up. And then Ash comes to, and he sees what's going on.
Yep.
And he reaches his hand out, which I love. He reaches his hand out. I thought he was going to do a Jedi, the Force. But Pablo, the chainsaw's at Pablo's feet. He kicks it into the air.
Yep.
Ash launches himself in the air, and it's zero gravity. It's slow motion. It's
just floating through. He's unscrewed the wooden hand.
Yep.
And he's got his hands out as the saw and Ash go sailing towards each other.
And he reaches out, and just the hand and the saw just lock in.
He just perfect aim, and
he lands, and he's like, hey, I hope you took your Geritol because it's time to dance. And Vivian gets up and he launched herself at him, and he just in one swipe just beheads her
off with her head.
And that is the return of Ash. And we see him just standing triumphantly. He's got the shotgun, he's got the chainsaw, he's everything that we all remember. He's a total antithesis to what we saw at the beginning of the episode. We see this whole transition. And Pablo asks him, how's it feel to be back?
And he says,
groovy.
And then we get the credits.
End of episode. Directed by Sam Raimi.
Lord, what a great episode.
Wow.
Holy cow.
That's everything you would have wanted from a TV series focusing on Ash and the Evil Dead. This is everything you would have wanted. So let's go ahead and let's talk about, let's give our rating, our quality of the episode. We're going to do this a little differently.
Right.
But let's go ahead and go to the next segment.
All right. We're going to be talking about the quality of Campbell.
But first, let's talk about Patreon.
Do you like our weekly content here on Cult of Campbell? Then visit our Patreon at CultTalkNet. For only $5 a month, you can join our Groovy tier, which includes early access to all Cult Talk Net episodes, full-length audio watch-alongs, and access to our private Facebook group.
I'm sorry, sir. No one will be seated after the doors are closed.
It helps maintain the illusion.
Or for only $10 a month, you can join our certified Groovy tier, which includes all the perks of the Groovy tier, plus a monthly bonus episode and early access to our early recorded beta episodes.
For the month of May, our bonus episode for you is the 1978's Within the Woods, a short film starring Bruce Campbell and progenitor of the Evil Dead.
And the only place to find out whether that's groovy or not groovy is Patreon at CultTalkNet and help support the podcast. Now, back to the show.
Yo, she-bitch. Let's go.
All right, everyone. We're going to be doing this a little differently in Cult of Campbell versus Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Right.
I think it'd be a little repetitive for us to rate groovy or not groovy on this series because I will wager to bet that there is not going to be one not groovy
Yes.
in this entire series.
Having only seen that first episode, man, if that's any indicator of
Yeah.
what we're in for, it's going to be groovies across the board.
Yeah, I don't think we need 30 episodes of 30 groovies. I would wager to bet they would be certified groovies every episode.
Absolutely. I would put money on that.
So what we're going to do is we're going to give every episode a out of 5 rating.
Right.
And it can be out of 5 anythings that we find
Right.
memorable from the episode. So, what did you think of Bruce Ash Williams, him returning to that classic role, the role that made him? He returns after, a couple decades,
Yeah,
right? Since
yeah.
92.
Since
This is the first time
92.
we're seeing him as Ash. What'd you think of Bruce Campbell in Ash vs. Evil Dead El Jefe?
Oh my God. So this was because, and I haven't seen, a lot of the Evil Dead stuff myself. So I can say from that perspective, like, it's not just for the fans of
Right.
Bruce Campbell. Like, that's a solid episode that we just watched. And there were all sorts of callbacks and stuff, I'm sure, that I probably didn't pick up on. But he did such an amazing job, even when he's like supposed to be this kind of unlikable, selfish, rundown guy and hiding at the beginning. Like, we're still just absolutely enjoyed watching him. I loved it.
Right.
And it was kind of funny, like all the side characters were very enamored with him. Despite, I am genuinely impressed by this, and his performance was amazing. He was just so good.
You really see why, Ash is this beloved character.
And they had held nothing back. We were seeing him right from the get-go with those quick cuts and the one-liners right off the bat. That transformation, like, I'm just gonna say this right now, like that was when we're talking about moments here, that like favorite moments. I'm jumping ahead a little bit just to say that shotgun springing out of the floorboard struck me so. Just that whole sequence struck me so hard. Like, he just immediately was just. He's got a focus. It's almost like the evil is good for him. Like, he becomes
it reinvigorates him.
Yeah, it does. It gives him purpose.
I think that's what it is. I think that's a big thing. Is like this is kind of, whether he wants it or not, this is kind of his destiny is to face evil.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, personally, I don't think you can say anything bad about Ash in Bruce as Ash Williams in this first episode of Ash vs. Evil Dead. It's just it's so good. It's like a great episode. It's a great reintroduction of the character.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's so fun to see him back, and the way they bring him back in, like, you get an idea of where he is. Because, we left off, for all we know, last time we left off, if you're going by the canon, is, he was battling, creatures in medieval times, and he comes back to the previous time. So you would think maybe there would be some kind of, like, I don't know, fame or, something.
Or some sort of notoriety.
Some sort of notoriety to come with that. But you see, no, he's just kind of a loser guy, but he is kind of in hide. Maybe he doesn't even want that because he is kind of hiding out. He is kind of just hiding, keeping low for the most part.
Takes that book and he's like, we have to go somewhere. Somewhere quiet. Where no idiot is gonna smoke pot and try to impress a chick with this shit. We got to keep the evil contained.
So, I mean,
what a great arc. And they gave us Ash by the very end of it. Like, they didn't take any. They took that episode to do it. It wasn't.
It wasn't like we had to wait till the end of the season to see Ash come back. Like, no, here's where we're going to see Ash within this episode.
Yeah,
it's a 40-minute episode. It's the pilot. It's tremendous.
It is. That's a strong opening.
If you had to give it a out of 5 rating, out of 5 what's would you give it?
So out of 5, I'm going to do out of 5 smashed lilies.
Okay.
Yep. I'm gonna have to give this, like, I'm gonna straight up say like 5 out of 5 smashed lilies right there. Yep. Yeah. He's just so on it. he's having, you can tell he's having fun. He's getting his one-liners in. He's such a relatable character in general, which I'm sure is one of the things that everybody loves about him.
Oh,
He's just, he's basically an everyman.
He is
he's
an
not
everyman,
perfect.
I think that's one of the main appeals of Ash Williams in general. Is like he was one of the first like everyman, kind of like, I think he was like one of the first like action heroes of horror.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because like in horror, you got your villains who are generally the more iconic. You got your Freddys, your Jasons, your Michael Myers. But I think Ash was the first like real like action hero, like the first hero that people could relate to.
Boy, you're right.
Yeah, I think that's part of the longevity of this character and like why it has this iconic status in horror.
Wow. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Man. And I'll talk about my favorite moment for just a second again when that shotgun springs out. Those quick cuts. Is that a Sam Raimi thing?
Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah, you see that all the way back in Evil Dead. Like Evil Dead 2 and things like that, you really start to see it. Like that's kind of his style, is he's like, you get to see even Spider-Man, they do some stuff like that. And Spider-Man, there's a whole scene that's basically a callback to Evil Dead 2.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Ooh,
when
that's neat.
I think it's when Peter Parker is building his web slingers. Remember in that one he has I think that's a whole like callback to Evil Dead 2. But
boy, that was just a slick sequence.
Yeah.
That shotgun springs up, turns around, and he just obliterates that Deadite, and then he's just like slings a shotgun right back into the holster. And he's got the other two just on either side of him, and he's in that power pose, that Ash pose, and it's just like, this motherfucker is back. I loved it. Yep. What about you? What do you think?
I mean, there's no question about it. I'm gonna give this 5 out of 5 spring action shotguns.
Spring action shotguns.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 because it's so good. I mean, I don't think you could like. There's nothing. If you're a fan of the character or the series, I would harbor say if you're even just a casual fan, if you watch this, there's no way you can come out of this not enjoying yourself,
right? And
being anticipating the next episode. So, 5 out of 5, easy across the board. My favorite moment, I think we can both agree, is just that transformation we see at the end.
Yes, absolutely.
Of the shell of Ash Williams we were introduced to becoming the Ash Williams we're all used to. So
yes.
I don't think we need to harp on it anymore. I mean, this is a solid episode. Like, find it on Netflix. It's there.
You absolutely should watch this. I haven't seen the rest of the episodes yet.
This is a 40-minute episode, but after this, they're like 23 minutes. They're easily bingeable. There's 3 seasons. We'll be covering them all here on Cult of Campbell.
Oh, yeah.
So over time, I think it's going to be every other week we're going to launch one of these. So I think we can go and wrap it up. What do you think, Eric?
I think so. I'm definitely interested to hear what everyone else has to say. What did you guys think about the series? How excited were you when this came back?
Like, how shocked were you when this came back? Because I was definitely shocked. I was in that camp where I was like, wait a second, what, they're doing an Ash Williams television series, and it was on Stars too. So it's they don't have to hold anything back. It's not network TV. They're able to have gore, and we hear the F-bomb drop. We see sexual content.
Oh yeah, we see. Yep.
I mean, we get it all. So it's great. So,
and that's the way to do this. Absolutely.
Yeah, this would not be good
otherwise.
Yeah. I have one more question before we leave.
Oh yeah.
So this is something for you.
Okay.
So you have not seen many of the Evil Deads,
right?
Last thing you watched I know of is Evil Dead 1.
That is correct.
What do you think about the difference between Ash Williams here and Ash Williams from Evil Dead, which
boy.
you gave a groovy to?
I did give a groovy to it.
But do you kind of see why I gave it a not groovy?
I do. I was going to say I don't want to walk back on my groovy, and I'm not going to. I will stand by it because I saw the seeds of what was in there, and it, kind of in it, and it was looking back. But I can definitely, having seen this and seeing like Ash in his full realized glory, like this fully fleshed out character, who he is. You really didn't see that in the very first Evil Dead. Like, so
it's a night and day between.
I definitely understand because I mean you're a pretty diehard fan, and so I was surprised that you gave it a not groovy. But no, having seen that, I get it, Tyler. I get it, and I forgive you. I will stand by my groovy. Like I said, I'm not gonna redo that. But
all right. Well, on that note, I think we can go ahead and just let us know what you guys think of Ash vs. Evil Dead, Episode 1, El Jefe. You can let us know in the comments on our YouTube at Cult Talk Net. Go to our Instagram. We'll have some content there. I'm sure you can spark a conversation at Cult Talk Net. Check out our Patreon at Cult Talk Net. It's all very easy to find.
Yes.
I made it nice and uniform, so once you know it, and you can find it anywhere. Yep. So our Patreon, check that out for some extra content. We'll be dropping some bonus episodes and some watch-alongs and even some beta episodes, our early beta episodes, our non-Campbell beta episodes, which are kind of cringy to listen to, but it's kind of fun. So I think that's it for us here at Cult of Campbell. I'm Ty.
I'm Eric.
And remember, stay groovy.
Never fuck with the king. That's it? That's the best you got?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.